What's up guys, Houndish here, and today Into the Light has finally arrived in Destiny 2, and in this video I wanted to do a breakdown of all of the key rewards for this update, how we can get access to them, as well as new loot systems that allow us to farm weapons easier. Plus we have things like weekly quests to unlock some of the weapons. We'll also talk about the rollout and the schedule for particular weapons becoming available, as well as unlocking the new armor, hidden keys that allow us to unlock the Superblack shader. There are a couple of other secrets there, plus we'll talk about new exotic missions returning, with Whisper available this week, and that's going to have weekly quests associated with it to get upgrades. Plus we have the new Brave title and some additional rewards worth knowing about. So this is sort of an overview for the key loot drops inside of the update. As always, I hope the video is useful, and if it is, a rating below really helps us out, but now let's get into it. And so here we are in the new update, and the first thing I wanted to talk about are the Brave weapons. Of course, we've got 12 returning weapons for the update, although there is a specific schedule for when they'll become available. So right now we've got Recluse, Hung Jury, Succession, Edge Transit, Elsie's Rifle, and Falling Guillotine available. But according to Bungie, by April 30th, all 12 of the weapons will have dropped. So there is still a rotation there, but it's not going to take too long for all of them to drop in the game, and it does allow us to farm specific ones in the next couple of weeks. But in terms of accessing the weapons, ultimately, they'll be able to drop randomly from chests when playing the Onslaught game mode, and the more waves we can complete, the more drops we'll get. They do drop very regularly, so as we unlock weapons into that loot pool, it's certainly going to be worth playing Onslaught, and especially versions of the game mode where we can try and get close to 50 rounds, of course will reward us with more drops. But first we need to complete some weekly weapon quests at Arcite in order to reliably access the weapons and to get their limited edition variants. So at the robot here in the social hub next to Shaxx, we can grab these pursuits, and for each one we finish, we'll get a curated roll of the assigned weapon, and that comes as a limited edition variant of the normal gun. And so limited editions get double traits as random drops, plus they have a unique skin. So they're kind of the ultimate versions of these weapons, and once the quest version of the gun is dropped, the loot pool for Onslaught and Shaxx rewards will expand to include them. But it also allows us to use an attunement to get more rolls of the weapon that we want, and we'll touch on that in a moment. But over time at Arcite here, more quests will become available, perhaps as a weekly thing. So ultimately, these will get us a good version of the limited edition weapon, but it also opens up farming to give us much better chances at picking up more of them with random rolls. So these quests are going to be important for sure. A quick mention for an easy way to make progress for some of these quests though, we can either farm Shuro Chi or the entrance to the Grasp of Avarice. The Grasp of Avarice in particular is pretty good for certain weapons, especially things like the Recluse quest, but I also completed the Falling Guillotine quest here as well. You may have to load in 2 or 3 times, but if you're finding it frustrating trying to farm out the kills for a certain weapon in Onslaught, it's certainly worth keeping in mind that Shuro Chi and the entrance to the Grasp of Avarice dungeon in the Cosmodrome are pretty good ways to farm out these weapons. I believe I completed 3 of the quests in like 30 or 40 minutes, so it's certainly not exciting, but it works. And once they're in the loot pool, these weapons will also drop from rank up packages and engrams at Shaxx. On top of that though, you'll have found these trophies of bravery from playing Onslaught and Into the Light activities, plus they drop from ranking up with Shaxx, and those can be spent at the chest on the left hand side of Shaxx for random weapon drops. But after we've unlocked a weapon for the first time, we can use the statue holograms around the social hub to attune to the weapon, which basically significantly increases the drop rate overall, so that'll be a must if you're farming for god rolls of any of the Into the Light weapons, and the attunement can be swapped between weapons we have unlocked at any time. So definitely take note of that. That's pretty much how the weapon system works. Do the quests, use the attunement, and farm away for the weapons you want the most. Or alternatively, just nab the curated roll from the quest. But keep in mind the normal versions of these guns will continue to drop after the final shape. However, the limited editions will no longer drop, so if you want them, we need to get them in the next 2 months essentially. So let us know down below which weapons you're most excited to get hold of. For armor though, we'll unlock the Into the Light sets by ranking up with Shaxx, or at least that will give us curated rolls of the pieces. So as we level up, you can see right here, we've got the keys on Shaxx's rank rewards, and these let us open the class chests in the middle of the hub over here. So it's fairly self-explanatory. Keep in mind though, Shaxx rep can be earned in Onslaught and by completing Shaxx bounties. Plus we can get reputation by completing Arcite's weapon quests as well. So if you're playing a bunch, those level ups shouldn't be too bad. Before we move on from the social hub elements though, it's worth mentioning Superblack and this hidden room at the back of the social hub. And both Shaxx and Arcite Arcite in the hub have an item which can be unlocked to access the Superblack shader. If you haven't seen that yet, it is literally black, but it comes in 2 parts. So Shaxx has Superblack key alpha, and this is one of 2 keys available for this. The first one unlocked at rank 17 at Shaxx, so we'll need to level up and finish bounties by playing Onslaught, but the second key is on Arcite, and that's the Omega key, and this requires us to complete all of the weekly weapon quests, so that won't be available until after April 30th, but nonetheless, the idea is that both keys will unlock this hidden room in the back, and that ultimately gives us the shader. So in a sense, it's the one benefit of some of these weapons being time-gated, is it gives us a clear couple of weeks to get the first 6 quests done, then after April 30th, when all of the weapons become available, we can finish the other 6 and get access to the shader at the same time. Next up though, let's talk about exotic missions, and at the moment we've got Whisper of the Worm and the Whisper mission, which has been reprised. So to kick this off, there'll be a quest from Eris, and we'll need to do an initial run of the exotic mission, but beyond that it'll unlock crafting, and Bungie have said that the catalyst will be available in the mission for those who don't already have it. Otherwise, once the initial run of Whisper is completed, we'll get weekly quests rolling out, which award the intrinsic upgrade. So it works much like the other exotic missions we have, and there's pretty much the same upgrade path for the exotic weapon itself. Plus we should say this will be the same process for 0 Hour, but that one doesn't unlock until May 7th. In terms of additional drops though for the exotic missions, firstly, we can get the Carve of the Worm exotic ship from the Whisper, and in order to get this we need to find all 7 of the oracles in the exotic mission, so obviously that's a secret that we'll find within, but certainly it's worth mentioning. And here's a look at the updated Carve of the Worm, now with this sort of Vex effect over the top of it, so that's pretty cool. But then from the 0 Hour mission, we'll be able to pick up the Vimana Junka, if I'm saying that one correctly. That's the exotic ship. So let us know if you're diving into the exotic mission reprises. A couple of other quick mentions though. There is a new shader called Blue Steel, and in order to get this, we need to find Archie once, anywhere. Not sure how this one works. I believe going to Archie in the social spaces doesn't seem to work, and that's the robot dog of course. So that's probably an additional secret down the road. Otherwise, there is the Catching Waves emblem, and this is earned by completing the 5th wave set in Onslaught on Legend difficulty, so gonna be a pretty hard one to get, but a cool emblem nonetheless. For a quick mention of the new title though, this is called Brave, and we can unlock this by playing the core Into the Light content. So firstly, there's an objective to complete all of the Brave weapon quests, then to reach the maximum reputation with Lord Shaxx, but also want to defeat each of the 3 final bosses in Onslaught, with the bosses rotating weekly, another one to also complete the 5th wave set in Onslaught on normal difficulty, then to complete the exotic mission The Whisper. Plus there's one to collect a Grimoire card about Empress Keitel, and we can find these Grimoire cards hidden in the new social space, and we'll get access to more of those as we unlock Attunement for various weapons. Then we've got one to complete a bunch of waves in Onslaught, another to purchase defenses in Onslaught, and finally, one to defeat opponents with brave weapons, and defeating Guardians will grant more progress. So that's a title that we can also work towards during this update. For today though guys, that's what we have to break down in terms of rewards for Into the Light. So a bunch of interesting stuff there. Unlocking Attunement for the brave weapons actually isn't too bad overall really. So let us know what you'll be farming for first, but if you found the video today useful, a rating below really helps us out, and be sure to get subscribed to the channel so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, cheers for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.